Hello, beautiful people, wherever you are. Welcome back. It's underscore back again to the root of today. Here we are, is a little bit having some leisure. Today it has been sunny, and I've been feeling so characteristically not good because of we can talk about the nose bleeding. It has been so swelling into my head here a little bit, but everything is so fantastic because I was nose bleeding here a little bit, and making sure that I had to sit down and put my head upside to make sure everything is coming to you one on one. Here we go, and much of the things are still ongoing here. We have the security is tight as usual. As far as everything is in concern, I'm always prevailing here and there, so I can just bring you this kind of the content because much of the work is still ongoing. And to the G Castle there, we're going to be checking back to the G Castle and know whatever is just getting round. And today I'm just coming to this kind of the small forests here, so I can just come and see if we can just find wild fruits here, so I can just eat a little bit here, because I'm going to be having some wild fruits here every time and then. So that's why I always make sure that I'm coming to the wild areas here, so that I can just check for the passion fruit sometimes. Yeah, we are having some passion fruits here, and everything's so fantastic. We have some passion fruits here. It's a little bit talk about an interior area, but everything is so fantastic. So I'm gonna be now checking around down here. So as up here you can never find them. Sometimes they're gonna be folded around already, and that's the real fact. As we commence and tangle this kind of the video, I appreciate much of the people who are just already ripped in and making sure they're going to be watching the video from enthusiastically from wherever you are, and that's appreciation for me and making sure they're going to be watching. So to the real fact of today, guys, here we go. The climate is so cool, and it's going to be raining because as we can just tangle and see, but the climate is blue. That's the real fact. And how we can just check on the day, it's just protruding very fantastic, as we're going to be making sure that everything is so characteristically good. So here I am, just a little bit of a moment here. I was tangling to see a little bit of my forest here, and I got much of the people burnt the forest here, and we have so many firewood here, and I don't know why people can just come and burn, but we understand it's maybe the nature, and people maybe it was a little bit, maybe it was so insecure for this kind of the area to be available here, so that's why it's just looking so awkward. The trees has been burnt, and we still persist with making sure that everything has to continue. That's the good thing about us here. As we're going to be just democalizing, keep it tuned, keep it locked, as this is the start, and making sure that other things will be coming to you live one on one. Here we go. The G is very fantastic. Everyone who is talking about Gintu, I like to see whenever you are just always good here, and Gintu is very good, and the life is continuing as usual, as we're going to just embrace going forward always. This is the fantastic moment that we're going to be tangling and making it happen. Keep it tuned. Let's go with this kind of the tingle moment. Oh, na Svenja! Amahiria! Oh, Svenja! Ah, yeah, man, wherever you're coming, back to the system here. The maize are growing as fantastic as we have ever been talking about. Guys, today we have much of the key points here, so as you can just mention, because we are having a little bit of a problem. Here, I talk about the bricks are ongoing here, and I'm going to be spotting a little bit whatever going to be coming, so they can just gauge and know what is really happening here. The bricks have been democalized here already, and things are just flowing as fantastic. So already they are out of I can talk about from Mogesi there, so they're gonna be working twice, because right now there's not much of the rainfall, so they're gonna be working for this kind of Gintu and Mogesi at the same time. You understand whenever I talk about Gashagwa and the other guy who is called Faida, exactly. So today they have just formulated 1,000 again, because I talked about we're gonna be having a perimeter wall, so I'm gauging much of the bricks here, so you can just have much of the things coming out very fantastic here. As far as everything is in concern, the area is secured, so I'm just taking much of the panel so I can just understand what's really happening to the G Castle here, and much of the duties that have been already democalized for us to continue having. The firewoods that are set very fantastic and punctual at this kind of the moment to have much of the things going on very, very fantastic here. So much of the firewood for the cooking here, everything is very awesome here. Oh, even this is for making sure that the people are going to be eating it, so they're going to be having it is ready for consumption. Consumption rate is very high there, guys. That's the real fact here. So we have much of the boys here making sure that the democratization of the tiling system here. Have Peter man. Yeah. What's up, man? Today you have Angepa. Yeah.
Matopare.
It's called Matopare. Can you do it?
Yes.
Do it, Matopare, yes. Matopare. Matopare. Ma topare, topa, 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 topa. Everything is so fantastic here. Exactly. Guys, the tiling here, they have to be soaked here for everything to continue democalizing and getting to the forward range here. So we are having this kind of a small skirting place here so they can just be filled to the far end. Today you're gonna be having a very fantastic moment here. We have another gentleman here. Hey, how are you, man? Hey, carifragist, very good, eh? Everything is working. You look like you don't want. What is the problem? No. Or you want? You want? Do you want? You don't want. Exactly. So here we go, guys, and they are just making sure that the work is going on. So I'm just passing a little bit here so I can just give you much of the things that are taking place here. We are having Kimberly here. Kimberly, how are you? Hey, Kimberly. Oh, you are making an airplane. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly. Okay, continue. I'm gone. Hey, now. Hey, everything is good. Exactly. Here we have Fundi Duke. Say hi, bro. Hey, today you are in gears. Yeah. Fantastic. I'm coming back to your position here. Yeah. Exactly. Guys, I was orienting you a little bit here so you can just know what is really coming onto the section. The dogs here, orientation for the dogs here, they're already democalizing and the space is provided here. Very fantastic here, so they can just have this kind of the video tangling at this kind of the moment and everything is just getting to your brain point. Very fantastic. So guys, today we have a little bit of a chit chat here because we have much of the schedulement whereby we are being intervening. The security is tight. Everything gonna be very compiled and very awesome backyard here. So I have to make sure that whenever I'm just traveling, and right now you understand the dogs here. So today, guys, I've just hooked up and I've already got much of the pinpoints that we are ever talking about in terms of the dogs stealing. Today, I've already understood that Nasto is just lying for you, and he was talking about the dogs have been stolen because of. Let me tell you what is happening here. Now today, I have a very good and carifragistic story, so I can just have to share with you, so you can just learn what is now kicking off from this kind of the panel. We have this kind of the banana plants here. We're gonna be making sure that we are democalizing from this kind of the sphere. Let me put the exactly. Somebody can see me wherever you're coming from. Exactly. So here we go, guys. The little fact that I can just speak to you is, oh, the camera is so high. Somebody can talk about, oh, the camera is high. Wherever it's coming from, there's no problem about that one. So the fact and the little fact that I can just talk about today is we are having a problem. The problem is coming from whereby we are being lied on. Too much of the YouTubers are just lying to you that, oh, this kind of the thing has happened this way, this kind of the thing has happened that way. To the real fact of the time is there's nothing has ever been stolen already. The fact has to be talked as a fact because as we just resemble and know that what is really happening to the real regionum of right now, it's becoming so heterozygism and heteroconfusing in a way that Nasto has been lying to you that the dogs have been stolen. There's no dog that was being stolen there. He has sold the dogs to the same trainer. Let me tell you what happened. When Nasto talked about you're going to be buying much of the dogs from one of the trainers in Isibania there, and he bought 2 of the puppies and brought them to the site. And that kind of a guy who was a trainer dog talked about has a client, because I've already known how the data are going already onto the system. Because that guy, today I was just having such kind of 2 or 3 tours here, and some people talk about, oh, how did you get to know this kind of the things here? Just relax, have a seat, very fantastic, and get the pinpoint how it was. So guys, it's this way. So this kind of a guy who was training much of the dogs in Isibania was having a client who needed bigger dogs, not the small puppies. So when he talked about, I want you to train, do you have this talk about the sizable dogs that you can just sell to me? So this kind of a trainer talked about, can I go and buy this kind of the dogs from Nasto so as I can exchange Because when Nasto was buying this kind of the dogs from this kind of the guy, talked about you want the bulldogs. And this kind of the German shepherds here, they were just there because there were no bulldogs that were there during that time. So Nasto, whenever he heard that the bulldogs have already democratized to that kind of a trainer, he has brought the puppies. So he talked about how can we play a game. So he has to come out and talk about, guys, my dogs have been stolen. It was not a pathetic, it's a pathetic point whereby he's talking about the dogs were stolen, because I never wanted people to ask about why and where are the other dogs. So he had to surrender these other two dogs so as he can exchange to the bulldogs, because the bulldogs are a little bit expensive than the other German shepherd dogs that he was talking about. So the real fact is that trainer took this kind of the dogs from Nasto. It was around 10 a.m. in the morning, and he went there and took the dogs and just put them onto the, talk about, he came with one of the vehicle and put the dogs onto the, talk about, here we call it a boot, and somebody can talk about a trunk at the same time. So the little fact that is coming to the same event is the dogs were being packaged onto the trunk of the car, and they were just taken to Sirari. And Nasto did not enter to the same car. What he did, he took his own motorbike, which is a model of Tanzania, and just made sure that he's going, he could not accompany them, so as he can sell, or he can sell himself whenever he could accompany them, because they had to go so as he can go as a visitor, so as he can just go and pick this kind of the dogs. So when he reached there, he got that there's a clientele who needed the same size of the dogs that Nasto had, so as they can be trained with that kind of a dog trainer in Isibania, so as this kind of the dogs can be sold at a higher price. And they were taken from Nasto at a higher price, whereby he was making sure that the pocket demand are being freezing. So he had to make sure that everything is accompanied exactly and examinically with how the pocket demand is becoming a problem. So much of the people are told that all the dogs have been stolen, but when you go direct to the point, how can a person come and jump your own wall, talk about the perimeter wall, and come and open, because they are already been locked inside with a padlock? You never tell us, is that padlock was hit? No. Was it done what? Because the candle is looking fantastic still, and how are they being sold? How are they being stolen? The fact has to come out clean and be told that this is the real fact that's going on. He never wanted to intervene, much of the subscribers not to engage to know that what is really happening to this kind of the regime. So the real fact is Nasto is a snake behind the snitching point, because he's always thinking about how can I make money apart from, and much of the people sympathize, talking about, oh, they have stolen you, oh, go and buy another one. That's the trending. That's how the content is created. Much of the people talk about, oh, this is the thing here, this is the thing there. But the fact has to remain as the fact, because right now we are having much of the sarcasm. Even the guy who ever sold those kind of the dogs to Nasto, already today I had already purchased, because I wanted to have a purchase of the talk about the pit what? The pit bull, something like that. So the big bulldogs that I wanted to purchase, and I was told that Nasto has already taken the two puppies. So even me, I was given that kind of the little hint that the puppies have already democratized at the trainer there. So today early in the morning, I went there so I can just take much of the dogs from there. So the information came late. When I reached there, I found Nasto has already taken them. So now the story came out of there. So that is the fantastic story I could just bring to you, that Nasto was pretending that the dogs have been stolen, yet is the one who took them to this kind of the guy, so as he can have an exchange, which is not bad, because he was lying that they were stolen. He woke up, and how can you just, sometimes Nasto is just trying to confuse our minds. Do you think that he's the one who knows how to play with the cucumber mostly? Yeah, oh, because you have a fantastic wife. There's no problem about that one. The fact is they are already thinking about now, how can we just make sure that we are creating this kind of the tension again? That's the real fact that we have at the G, the real G vibes of the day. As far as everything is in concern, we are promptly having a misleading event, and conclusively, Nasto is one of the very secretive people who can just make sure that they're intervening things that are not working properly, so as he can just make sure that everything is going promptly the way he has channeled it to go. The fact is, even today, Nasto never knew that I'm going to Sirari, so I was having my car here so as I could just drive to Sirari a little bit. But when I just passed him through the way and I talked about let me follow him so as I can just know where he's just moving to. So as he was just moving, I reached at where the police are just already standing, talk about the traffic police. I stood there and you have to give them whatever is theirs. Then I continued my way forward. Then Nasto passed us because he was having this kind of a motorbike model of Tanzania. Somebody can just understand it. It's called the Single and the single, yeah, something like that. So when he was just passing, he just promptly went with the same road where the dog trainers is already area. So when I reached there, I found that Nasto is already out, and he talked about, yeah, Nasto was here paying some money here, and I was talking about, he said about the dogs are lost. The dogs are there being trained. That's the real fact, guys. I'm telling you the fact. The dogs are there at the trainer. And I talked about how can you now sell me this kind of the dogs. And he talked about, no, you know, this kind of the dogs. That's why I took them from Nasto. Oh, there's a boy who was here. He's a YouTuber from Nyabwansi. He never knew who I am. And he never knew that because I never carried the camera whenever I'm just walking. So I was just having a phone. And whenever I just went there, because I was told that some of the dogs are always available there. So I wanted to have the small puppies. Whenever I'm going to have the G Castle moving forward, I could just bring them to the site and make sure that everything is continuing very, very fantastic. So when I reached there, I talked about, okay, can you sell me this kind of the dogs today? And do you have the small puppies? I was told that you have the small puppies here. He talked about, no, the small puppies, there's a boy who is a YouTuber from Nyabwansi. He came and just took them. They were his. So I talked about who is that kind of the person from Nyabwansi. Talked about he's calling himself Nasto. I was about, okay, Nasto. Okay, how is this kind of the issue going? And talked about, Nasto was telling much of the people that the dogs were stolen. And we had, because I never wanted to pinpoint direct, because I know how the things were going. I never wanted to pinpoint direct. I talked about, oh, Nasto. Oh, I know that boy, yeah. So I had rumors that the dogs have been stolen. Which kind of the dogs? I saw the dogs, they were just beside the kennels there, and they were just being fed. It was it was around 10 to 11 there. In the morning. Then I talked about, oh, I see some 2 dogs there. They look so fantastic. So you don't have the pit bulls here, or talk about the bulldogs here. He talked about, no, the ones that I were having, they were already booked, so you can book yours. I talked about how much does it cost. He told me that I cannot tell you right now because I don't have the specific puppies that do come in, because even me, I do hire or I do buy them from other people who are having such kind of the dogs around the Isibania zone and Migori. So I talked about, so when they come, so I left there my number so they can just call me whenever they arrive, because you can never know. Even at the evening, you can just find a phone call. Hey, this kind of the dogs are already arriving here. So the real fact that I got is that the dogs are still there and they want to be trained. This kind of the guy has bigger dogs, and he was telling me that one dog he can sell me at a cheaper price of 30,000, which is a German Shepherd. And talked about it's a little bit not trained fully. And the one that is trained fully and is a bigger one, he told me that they're going to be selling it for me 60,000 to 65, which is around 70. So it's approximately $500. I talked about, oh my living God. So those ones are there fully trained. I talked about, okay, will they accommodate, will they accept me? And I talked about, this kind of the bigger dogs, how can I take the bigger dogs? Will they? Because now, how am I going to start with this big one? Talked about, no, it doesn't have, because it's trained. That one I cannot. So the real fact is, Nasto today has already sold the dogs. So don't be cheated that the dogs were stolen. He has sold the dogs for an exchange. So as you can just exchange the dogs to the bulldogs here. That is the real fact that are going to be coming out with. And it's a match of the crackatoos of the day, because we understand this kind of the regime of Kenge regime is always having this kind of the crackatoo every time. They think about, they have to make sure they're going to be coming out, talk about, oh, this kind of the guy, this kind of the people. We have to streamline on how you can just deal with them simultaneously. That's the real effect that you're going to be having. So omnipresently, this is the character that is developed to the Kenge fraternity. They have this kind of attractor, or talk about a track of a trailing trailing characters that they want to prevail to much of the people, and they are hindering much of the emotions, much of much of how everything has to go forward. That's the real fact that we're going to be having outside here. So, but when we go direct to the pinpointing of the point here, I saw even Mama Ann's cow was being stolen. The real effect of the time is sometimes we don't know how can that kind of a cow be stolen, because I don't have the real hint about it. But when I can just venture into to know which and how, which kind of the way was it, because they have an emergency gate which is made of metal, and we have the bigger gate which is an entrance door. So how was it stolen? When we just tackle this kind of the matter once and for all, how was it stolen? So I don't get to know the real fact about did it jump through the window? Did it how? So we don't know. Did they open? Did somebody forget to close the door? Was it somehow things exchanged rapidly? So we don't understand actually how they were stolen. Even Nasto didn't tell us. The people jumped through the fence. They jumped through the perimeter wall for them to be taken out of the area. So that is the by fault that is coming in with this kind of the crackatoo of the moment. So we are feeling that we are insecure up to this kind of the time. Because right now, if we talk about, Nasto was talking about, right now much of the people are sympathizing, talking about we should be so correctly, and we should know our security pattern on how we handle, and we handle ourselves to make sure that this kind of the imbroglio we are thrown up to, it cannot just by fault to our own minds and the capability of our own essence time. So the effect that is already prevailing to our own proclaiming ways, that people are claiming that, oh, this is what is now by faulting, so that they can just get sympathy muchly, so that the people can talk about, oh, this is the thing that is already doing this one. But to the real effect of the time, again, when I come back to the same scenario, because yes, the dogs are of high demand right now. You can find that Nasto used another strategy, selling the dogs to this kind of the same trainer, so as he can train the dogs for another person who is a millionaire than Nasto. You understand? So even we have another scenario. Maybe you can sell the dogs to the people who are always chasing monkeys. You see, even Hadzambe, this kind of the people called Hadzambe people are buying much of the dogs and rearing much of the dogs and training them to run with an immediate. A dog that can never run, it has no survival value at Hadzambe tribe. So much of the people are buying them. Even in our area here, the people are talking about whenever the dogs are coming out. There's a person who asked me that, oh, Gintu, you are breeding much of the dogs here, and whenever you get some puppies, you are selling them. Do you have a license from the government? Do you think that I can get how can a person get a license in Kenya for rearing much of the dogs here? Or the dogs are just talking about the dogs can talk about multiply themselves. So I have to control the multiplication. So how am I going to talk about I do the family plan to the dogs? That will be stupidity of the ass order. I cannot do such kind of a thing. That's the real fact. If it was to control in the human being that we have to make sure that everything is moving so carifragistically good, like go and multiply the world and be feeling it. And even the dogs that were brought to the world so they can multiply also. And that's the real fact. But I always, whenever I'm just getting much of the puppies, I'm selling local puppies. Talk about the Coco dogs and African Shepherd. That's the real fact about me. So whenever they just, like right now, I have 3 female. They are pregnant. So I'm going to be having this kind of the puppies here produced here like 6. I have 18. So one, I'm going to be selling it so as I can just make sure that I'm rearing them at the first, and I'm gonna be selling it, but I don't have to train it. You have to go now and train it the way you want. If you want it to run, you have to take it while it's a puppy, train it how to run. That's the real fact. The only thing is it now goes to the specific job that you want to buy it and go and do. In a way that I'm speaking that way, it means that when the dog, you purchase it from me, and I will not be there to tell you that this kind of a dog runs this way. No, it's you now to take the responsibility on the specific job you want that dog to do. Maybe it is to run and make sure that it's chasing much of the monkeys. Maybe you are taking it for you to go and hunt. Talk about the rabbits.
talk about the wild rabbits. Maybe you are taking it for you to make sure that they are guarding the cows, or at night whenever you could be alerted as security at night. Maybe you want to take them as a barbecue. So it's you to understand. Am I selling to a Chinese? No. Am I selling to this? So there are people who are rearing much of the dogs and selling to the Chinese company. That's the fact. Even me, I was given that kind of an opportunity. While I was, I used to have much of the dogs when I was in high school. I was told that you can rear much of the dogs and you can facilitate. Do you have a very bigger area for you to enclose it and just build the normal mud houses and separate the cubes and make sure that you are rearing, and we will sponsor you so as you can just make sure that this kind of the dogs. But during that time, that kind of the fund it came, I was still in high school, so I could not engage in terms of that business, so I can just take it far away. That was the a fact that I could just talk about. I could just take care of them, but I was in school, so I could not manage 2 masters at the time, so I had to go. But when I came back to talk about, I finished my Form 4, so I can just continue rearing the dogs, or I can just rear them. So I came to understand that they could not be not yours, but you are rearing to a similar company or a specific company that will be coming and taking them and giving you puppies for you to make sure that you are growing those kind of the puppies and you sell them the bigger dogs for the consumption rate. I came to understand it. Even here in Kenya, it's there. Even here in Kurialand, we're having 2 people who are performing such kind of the duties. They could be mine. But I never wanted to engage in terms of that because I have that strong bond with pets that I can never want to see my dog taking it, then I'm selling it, because whenever you are rearing them, they understand that you are the master. You know, the dog, whenever you are feeding it, it understands in the first 3 days, it will ever resemble that you are always coming and you have food. They know that this kind of the person is food. They don't see you as a human. Whenever the dogs are crooked, or they're having bad behavior, or they are can talk about the aggressive dogs. They know that you, whenever they see you, they see food. After 3 days, they never recognize you again. But when you are there every time with them, like right now, I have so many dogs sleeping here. So how can I take some of my dogs and sell them to this kind of the people? And I know that they are going to be slaughtered. And one thing that I ever came to understand is that they should not multiply. Much of the dogs that you are rearing are only male, no female. So much of this kind of the people don't buy female. I don't know why. And I think maybe it's because of, I don't know, I cannot tell such kind of an issue, because I never asked much, because they told me that only male will be reared to whenever you want to rear this kind of the dogs. So that is another way of getting the dogs out of you. And I never wanted to engage in terms of that, because they told me that you can have up to 200 dogs at a maximum. And at the minimum, you should have 40 dogs. I talked about and the food, they talked about the company will be providing food. The only thing you are being paid, it's an area enclosed for those kind of the dogs to be reared there. And you, as a person who is taking care of the dogs, you are the people who are allowed. And you know, they should have a person who they trust. So as whenever they come to take this kind of the dogs, you are the one to lure them to get onto the rolly so they can be transported. I don't know if they cut this kind of I can call about the KRA, which is the revenue account. I don't know if they cut this kind of we call it tax. I don't know if they cut some tax, but here in Kenya, to rear much of the dogs, there's no tax. That is a good fact about it. So that's why you see much of the people are rearing much of the dogs as you can, as many as you can. I have like 7 approaching 8. So if they're going to be having the female going to be boy, I'm going to be making sure that I'm restoring other like 4, so they can just have like 10 to 12 dogs here. And that is the fantastic moment. So much of the people, whenever they know that, oh, whenever I'm going to Gintu, you know, in terms of security, I talked about dogs have very many specific duties here. So you can find that the dog is performing a duty of making sure that the security of your area is restored. Number 2, you can sell it for money. Like puppies, they are money. Exactly. That's number 2. Number 3, you can sell them to make sure that they are going to be hunting machines, and you can sell them for the barbecue. You understand it? And sometimes you can talk about the dogs as the beautification of your home, like the Chihuahua, such kind of the dogs here. So you understand them. They don't have nothing to do with the society here. It's only just rushing and sleeping to the coaches here and there. So the people are having it. Not that I hate those kind of the dogs, but I've never been into the motion of rearing them, and to my own emphasis. So, but the real effect is the good thing about rearing this kind of different types of the dogs. Why are they being reared? Here in Africa, we used to have this kind of the dogs that, an African, to make sure that you are cooking for the dogs or providing food for the dogs, it's becoming a problem at some times. Why am I saying so? It's in a way that even some parents, they can even hit you, or they can hit a dog that this is a dog and be separated. So here in Kenya, there's not like the USA government that talk about the children are the first priority, followed by women, then dogs, then male. So the fact is, here in Kenya, life is better than what? The dogs. So much of the pets, but we have the people who they can come and recognize that you are not providing food and shelter for your dogs, and containing their bodies and giving them the warmer so as they can just feel the good. Now, why are you rearing the dogs? So you are not taking care of them. Like right now, I'm going to be having much of the people bringing much of the food for the dogs here, so they can just continue having the dogs. And that's why I always, whenever I'm sleeping, they're always onto me here. So that is the real fact that is going on. But when we go straight to the real panel of why people are now catastrophically not understanding that if they're going to be coming out with much of the in-solution. And even here in the village in Nyabuanse, we have much of the YouTubers that are feeling like whenever they see the security is prehended or the security is very tight at a specific point, they want to come and tangle and understand that they want maybe to come and hinge and blow the cover, so as they can just get a good time for them to attack, or much of the people to do some of the bad intention to you. And that is the default that is always cataflowing to this kind of the reactors who are badly and heterozygously confused elements. You understand them and they are always available. But to the real fact of the time is we have to absolutely abscond this kind of the stupidity and the unlawful ways of making sure that we are mistreating our own pets. I like much of the pets here. I like the cows here. I saw even one of the YouTubers here from Nyabuansa called Max One. He was talking about some people broke and stole much of the cement from his store. We are having this kind of another shenanigan turning on to much of the YouTubers in town, talking about stealing. And much of the people now, it's now going to be becoming something so confusing. Right now, you can talk about now is this one. It's going to be becoming a bigger one, which is now maybe they're preferring to have a bigger scandal being coming out. That is the real fact that's coming out from Nyabuanse. Every time Nyabuanse is a sarcasm Nyabuanse, is a heterozygous Nyabuanse, it is this and then this. That's why always being the real Jesus can just bring you much of the vibe on what is really happening to this kind of the regime of Nyabuanse. It's always get to A, get to B, yeah man, get to C, ret, get to D, woo, get to A, wah, wah, get to B, ra, ra, get to A, woo, woo, get to C, boom, boom, get to D, ria, ria, and making sure that everything is very fantastic coming out from this kind of the fantastic moment. So keep it tuned. We're going to be checking on to the real G Castle here on what is really ongoing. The dogs are now standing up. Come, shh, kuja. 20. They're going to be coming. So, exactly. So they're coming. They're just here. Making sure that security is very tight. I like the pets. That's the fantastic moment that I have here. So as we are just approaching to see the G Castle, it's so reflecting from this kind of the far end and very happening so a unique fight to make sure that everything is flowing with the immediate effect of how we're gonna be getting it to get forward. So we have much of the things still continuing to the G Castle to make sure that we are moving in a very positive vibe. Always making sure that we are moving so fantastic. Let me check what is really happening here. Wow. So guys, we are moving. So I talked about Fundi Duke are going to be arriving here. So today you are in combat.
I saw somebody talking about, oh, Fundi Duke, you're gonna be having show, man, because this kind of a blade sometimes they may not touch it. Even me security is they're gonna be bleaching here. So we talked about this kind of the blade. Is it called the blade?
It is called the cutting disc.
Cutting disc.
Yeah.
It's gonna be whenever it can just find a shenanigan, man, and deal from there, so it can harm your legs.
Yeah.
So you have to have the combat and make sure that you. Yeah, man. Yeah, now you look like now now you look like now a Chinese. Now who is in a mission? Out of Vietnamese. Hey.
Yeah.
Today, my friend.
I'm in a mission.
You are in a mission.
Yeah.
Hey, today you look carifragistically very fantastic. That's now the mood of the work.
Yeah, I'm left with the overall.
Oh, overall only.
I think overall is so.
How much is the overall, man?
I think overall is almost 1,800 to 2,000.
Oh, 2,000. Yeah, which is approximately $20 US.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, whenever you can have the overall, which is green or blue.
Or black.
Or black.
Black or that color.
Which one?
Orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
Oh, those one of the machine. It's gonna be very fantastic, man. Eh? Yeah. This is a very fantastic mood now, man. Continue. So today we're gonna be having much of the windows already, and already we have the 3 ones there, which gonna be fitting here, and we are having here. This one is for the kitchen.
For the kitchen.
Yeah, for there, guys, for there. So it's already complete, man.
It is almost.
It's almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, we are rushing like Safari Rally. So right now you are remaining with, I see another window. This for the corner. This is the corner window.
That one is for the corner.
Yeah, we have this one here for
the bedroom, master bedroom.
this. Is it? No, this one is for the master bedroom.
Yeah, this one also
one
is for the master bedroom.
No, it's for the closet.
It is
The
good?
closet. The closet which is at the master bedroom.
Yeah.
The closet. So already it's done.
Yeah, it is done.
It's complete.
It is
So
only remaining.
this one is now for the bedroom, the second bedroom.
bedroom,
Yeah, so it's only remaining for the middle stages here to make sure that you are fixing it. Exactly. So as far as everything is in concern, guys, we are moving. So right now, I think you're gonna be now it's in the kitchen. So now after kitchen, you're gonna be going to the 3 bedrooms. So it means that you are remaining with 3 big windows and 3, 4 for the loose. Talk about the washrooms.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3,
4.
Yeah.
So you are remaining with 7 windows.
7 windows.
7 windows to go. That is the real fact that is just getting in, and is democratizing here. For the fact is that I keep on subscribing, like and share. And right now he's looking like a Chinese who is in a mission. So you can just check how he's just laughing behind the scene here to make sure that a Vietnamese here to make sure that everything is so fantastic. He's calling himself Fundi Duke.
Yeah, my first mission is almost.
Yeah.
And the second mission, please guys.
Yeah, subscribe.
Subscribe and also watch the videos.
Exactly.
Yesterday I didn't post a video, but today I'll make sure that I post a longer video.
Yeah.
A bit. It is because I'm busy here. That's why I'm not concentrating most of the video, but I'm almost done, and I'll be here for the time being, waiting for the materials for the stairs and also the rooftop. So
yeah.
So guys, please subscribe. I'm almost subscribers. I'm almost there. Thank you so much, and also continue subscribing so that I can reach 1,000, and also I'll start posting longer videos.
Yeah, we are back. A little bit, we're having some shenanigans here, a little bit. You are talking about, we are having, guys, we are ever talking about support him also to make sure that he's having the second mission to go forward. And we're going to be having to finish this kind of the G-Castle a little bit moment here. We're going to be having the completion of the match of the windows that are always going on and also the doors here. So I think the moment is now, so as you can just support him, so as you can just move forward and make it happen, because it's not easy. Yeah, for us to reach this kind of the far end, and he also is struggling, is making it to happen, because it's a very good move that we are just making, and we are only remaining with 7 windows, which is the 3 big windows and some 3. So I think tomorrow you're gonna be framing them, the 3 ones?
Yeah.
Or you can just want to talk about the 4 small one you finish, or do you start with the big one?
I think tomorrow I'll just grind, or maybe I'll postpone the painting of the grills. Then I frame and finish the windows so that they'll be painted all at once and they'll be fixed all at once.
Exactly.
Yeah, painting is not taking a long time. It can only take, even on Sunday. They can be painted on Sunday at once and they dry up, and then on Monday they be fitted.
They can be fitted, exactly.
So
I
even
understand.
tomorrow I can postpone the grinding of the windows.
Yeah.
Then I finish with the 7 remaining windows. I think tomorrow I'll frame them and also partition them. And finish them.
Exactly. That's the move we are just making here, and we are discussing on how we can just make the work to go so fantastic and also have the quality product that's going to be coming out at the same time, because as far as we are making it, we're going to be making sure that it's a successful mission and a very strong windows at the same time. So the materials are going to be enough? The materials?
I think they are going to be enough.
They're going to be enough.
They are not going.
Yeah. We're going to be having...
I think we're going to be having with a less of either 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
But according to the way they are going, we are remaining with smaller windows. The big windows, this one was also big.
Yeah,
also this.
Exactly. Even this one is a big one.
They have already demolished. What we are left with is only partitioning.
The small ones.
And the small pins. We can use these ones.
Yeah, we have the rejects here that are always being used here. So that's the fantastic moment that we're always going on in. And you can just check, it's called the Fundy Duke, Fundy, Fundy, Fundy.
Yeah, guys, if you're coming to my channel, please, you can even watch the previous videos, because I'm very busy.
Exactly.
And I want to achieve this to make sure that this mission is completed before Sunday, so that Monday the G Castle will
start fixing the windows.
Yeah, we'll started fix the windows, and also we start the other.
Talk about the deck, to the top of the deck
and the stairs. Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm busy here.
Yeah.
Sometimes like yesterday I finished here when it is dark. I couldn't even make a video.
Yeah.
And today, I am seeing that the way I'm going, I'm finishing this one. Then I see if I can make a 40 minutes or 30 minutes video. Then I post.
Exactly.
But if you are coming, please subscribe, and also there are the previous videos. You can watch them so that I can achieve also the watch hours.
Exactly.
The way I'm seeing my channel is going, it is going like Safari Rari.
Exactly.
I'm almost reaching the subscription 1,000.
Yeah.
And I'll wait for the watch hours, because my views were low a bit.
Attaining the watch hours
was very hard. So please continue watching the previous videos, and as I'm finishing this one, I'll also make new videos for you guys to enjoy and also watch to the end, so that I can attain the watch hours.
Exactly. That's the best moment I was looking for, and it's called an US Army here, and everything's so fantastic. So we are working with much of the security here, and there's no one can just bring some shenanigans. Telenovela here, it's a no-go zone. So we have the mercenaries here, so everything is so fantastic. So you're gonna be having even, hey, who told you not to go to the military, man? So you're gonna be having that kind of the work being done in the forest.
Actually, one of the subscribers told me that me with you, if we go to America, we can be accused that we are
soldiers.
We are soldiers from another country. We are going to spy America. So if we say that we are not soldiers, they can even hire us to be soldiers.
Because we attain the height.
Yeah.
The height is there.
We have the height, and also the body is giving.
Are available.
Yeah.
Exactly. So guys, we are democratizing, and everything is just running very smoothly here. And we are finishing it up. Thank you very much for you being tuned. Support our people here so they can just make it in making sure that everything is so far. So whenever we're going to be having this kind of the morale, always going on with the morale of making sure that you're going to support them. They're going to be listening. They're going to be getting much of the vibe. They're going to be even feeling so califragistically good, and making sure that everything is coming so awesome here. So as far as everything is in concern, I see the G Castle here is now in a complete way at the top here.
And as everything is just roaming, we are having they're now making sure that they're cleaning and to the iron sheets here a little bit. From that far end, you can just check the iron sheets are being cleaned. It's only this kind of the part here, and they're cutting much of the small polythene sheet that is just passing through the edges here to make sure that it's so fantastically getting out and everything so awesome here. So as far as everything is concerned, I appreciate much of the effort that much of the people are just showing to us and making sure they're watching the videos to the brim and making sure that commenting positive always and making sure that we are moving, because much of the people are talking about, oh gee, we have to make sure that we are moving very fantastic as we have tangalized and making sure that everything is so fantastic. So as we're going to be ending this kind of the video from this kind of the entire brim, I talk about it has been so long, and also it has been a very a busy week as we're gonna be making sure that everything is going on good at every moment and every time here. So wow, exactly, wow. So they're just finishing it up, and this kind of the side we're going to be finished, and we're going to be moving to the other side of the other area to make sure that they are fixing the other area very promptly and very good to make sure that everything is so fantastic. So yesterday and today the rain has not rained a little bit to make sure it has given us a little bit of an opportunity for us to finish it. It's not that it's from our own concern, but God understands how the way is always going and making sure that everything is so fantastic. Keep it tuned, keep it locked, subscribe, like, share, comment, and make sure that you are vibing in and always dancing with the rhythm, making sure that you are always representing and making it happen. It has been so long and making it happen. It's because of you, and we have just reached this kind of the Farah brim. So these are the windows they're just talking about. You're going to be fixing, and the other bedroom there to make sure that everything is so fantastic. Only 3 big windows and 4 small windows here, so they can just complete, so you can just come back to the deck here and complete the mission from this kind of the far end. So everything is going to be coming to you and reportingly from the village here to make sure that you are watching and also engaging to this kind of the family, G family and G castle at the drill G vibes. Here we go, here we tangle and we commence. Next time, next video gonna be coming to you, dropping another moment. Keep it tuned.